Is it alcohol? Is it marijuana? Is it cocaine? Is it pills?
It has been. At times.
All?
At times.
The 1970s were a golden era for black stars. They dominated the screen, lit up the stage with unforgettable performances, and captured the world's attention. But behind the dazzling stage lights lies a heartbreaking reality few know about. These beautiful, talented women faced deadly temptations beyond the glamour and couldn't resist the allure of the entertainment world's pleasures. Addiction destroyed their careers and lives, even ravaging the proud beauty that once captivated a generation. They paid a steep price for habits they couldn't control. The 19 stories I'm about to share will open a window into the dark corners of the lives of the most beautiful black actresses of the 1970s, a truth no one has dared to face head-on. 19. Barbara McNair, the silver screen queen sunk in the darkness of addiction and fading beauty. Barbara McNair, one of the rare black stars in Hollywood during the 1960s and 70s, was an icon of beauty and talent. As an actress and singer, she won the hearts of millions and became one of the brightest faces in entertainment. But beneath that glamour was a painful story of loss, ruin, and the ultimate decay of a beauty that once mesmerized audiences. After the tragic death of her husband in a drug deal gone wrong on August 15, 1973, Barbara turned to heroin to numb her pain and cocaine to stay alert during long performance nights. Hollywood, known for its lavish parties and drugs, became a trap that pulled her into a spiral of addiction. In 1976, everything unraveled in a drug possession scandal. It all fell apart. Lucrative contracts vanished. Barbara didn't just lose her career, she lost herself. Absences from the screen and heated disputes with producers were all shrouded in the haze of addiction. And then, the most horrifying change occurred. Barbara's beauty was ravaged just like her life. Over time, her once smooth skin was no longer flawless, replaced by ghastly sores and pustules, gray and ashen, scarred by the hormonal chaos drugs caused. Her eyes, once sparkling, now sunken with dark circles, as if she'd been brutally beaten, her vacant, lifeless gaze chilling those who saw her. Her lips cracked, dry as parched earth, and her teeth fell out, stained yellow. These were all marks of the devastation wrought by addiction. Addiction also crippled her health, leading to cancer. Painkillers and chemotherapy caused her hair to fall out almost entirely. The radiant face of old was now a gaunt skeleton with cheekbones sharp as blades. Addiction stole everything, not just her fame, but the beauty that had enchanted so many. In her final days, Barbara McNair lived in loneliness and poverty, her body frail and spirit broken. From a radiant star, she became a heartbreaking testament to the devastating consequences of drugs and the pressures of the glamorous entertainment world. Barbara passed away on February 4, 2007, leaving behind a tragic story that evokes deep sorrow. 18. Gail Fisher, the radiant Emmy-winning star, turned shadow by addiction. Gail Fisher, one of the first black actresses to win an Emmy, was a symbol of breakthrough in Hollywood. Her pioneering role as Peggy Fair in Mannix was not only a milestone in her career, but a turning point for black representation in a prejudiced film industry. Yet those achievements were quickly overshadowed when drugs entered her life, turning Gail from a radiant star into a dim shadow. Hollywood's parties, where cocaine was the trend among the elite, gradually pulled her into a quagmire of addiction. From the late 1960s, as Gail struggled with career pressures, single motherhood, and proving her talent in a harsh environment, she began using cocaine to stay alert through long shooting nights. By the 1970s, at the height of her career, Gail was trapped in an inescapable addiction. Each day, she used cocaine to push through stress, but it destroyed both her body and soul. Her life slid into irreparable ruin. Addiction made her lose control, and she was arrested in a drug possession scandal on March 22, 1978. Contracts and major roles vanished, her wealth crumbled, and the name that once shone brightly on screen became a distant memory. Her physical transformation was shocking. Her glossy brown skin, once a hallmark of beauty, became rough, with red rashes around her mouth and nose. Her once vibrant eyes were bloodshot, eyelids swollen as if stung by bees. Looking in the mirror, Gail couldn't recognize herself. Her teeth loosened, lips turned pale purple, and her face was blotchy, like a ruined painting, with no trace of her former beauty. But the pain didn't stop there. Cocaine and its health consequences forced Gail onto dialysis by 1995. Her body grew weaker, drained of vitality. Her hair thinned like cobwebs, her face gaunt as if all life had been sucked out. She lived in memories of a golden past. When she passed away suddenly on December 2, 2000, few recognized the shell of the once dazzling star, a woman whose career and proud beauty were destroyed by drugs. 17. Diahann Carroll, the screen legend and the tragedy of beauty, destroyed by drugs. Diahann Carroll, the renowned actress and singer, was a trailblazer who paved the way for black actors in Hollywood. She was the first black woman to star in her own TV series, Julia, 1968, a monumental step for both her career and the recognition of black roles in film. Yet her beauty and career faded rapidly because of one vice. It began in the early 1970s while filming Claudine, 1974. Her life was swept into the whirlwind of all-night parties where cocaine was ever present. For famous stars, drugs weren't just a tool to stay alert through grueling schedules, but a gift of fame. As her role in Julia brought her fame and admiration, Diahann faced unbearable pressure. She became an ideal, but also a target of criticism and racism. Her high-profile second divorce in 1976 pushed her further into addiction. Cocaine became her companion to navigate emotional crises and loneliness. Gradually, cocaine abuse stripped Diahann of her strength and control. Fierce arguments with directors cost her major roles, her wealth dissolved, and she faced serious health issues. Despite attempts at rehab, relapses left her drained. Cocaine ravaged her body from within, weakening her immune system, leading to metastatic breast cancer diagnosed in 2016, leaving only an unrecognizable shadow of the glamorous star. Her transformation was an unavoidable tragedy. Her once smooth, radiant skin, a defining feature of her elegant face, became sallow, dotted with brown spots like sunburn. Her nose, once striking with its refined structure, was deformed, its cartilage thinning from cocaine's effects, resembling a prosthetic. Chemotherapy for cancer caused her hair to fall out, her face swelled, her skin turned ashen like tinfoil, and her eyes grew cloudy like shattered glass. Her lips cracked, her body frail and gaunt, like a dried branch, stripped of the regal vitality she once embodied. Day by day, Diahann Carroll, from an icon of beauty and talent, became a living testament to the ravages of drugs. The price she paid was not just her career, but the dazzling image she once carried. She passed away on October 4, 2019. From a radiant star, she was drowned in the darkness of addiction, where drugs and emotional crises brought her down. 16. Vonetta McGee, the blaxploitation action. Queen sunk in the abyss of addiction. Vonetta McGee, a blockbuster action star of the 1970s, was an icon of strength and allure, with standout films like Shaft's Big Score, 1972, and Detroit 9000, 1973. She was not only a shining star of blaxploitation, but a symbol of freedom and independence in Hollywood. Yet her brilliant career was soon overshadowed by the darkness of addiction, costing her health, career, and the beauty that captivated audiences. After resounding success, Vonetta's life was upended by drugs. By the late 1970s, as a household name in action films, the pressure to maintain her blaxploitation queen image made her vulnerable to addiction's pull. Hollywood's lavish parties, where drugs were a staple, became where Vonetta sought a mental high. Cocaine fueled her energy for dangerous action scenes, but it stole her health and beauty. Relentless addiction stripped her of physical and mental control. No longer the action star with a toned physique and glossy brown skin, drugs ravaged her appearance. Her skin became blotchy, scarred with tiny marks and irritations. Her once vibrant eyes, exuding superstar charisma, grew sunken, with dark circles like bruises from sleepless nights. Her lips cracked like a desert, her teeth loosened, and her hair thinned like wilted grass. But it didn't stop there. Cocaine led to osteomyelitis, a bone infection that left her limping, her body wasting away. The once proud face was distorted, no longer resembling the blaxploitation queen. Addiction didn't just ruin her beauty, it ended her acting ability. Multiple hospitalizations for overdoses and declining health drained her finances, leaving her isolated. The name Vonetta McGee became a memory of a golden era. When she passed away on July 9, 2010, at 65, no one recognized the action star of old. Though she once enthralled millions, Vonetta paid an unbearable price for the path she chose. 15. Pam Grier, the blaxploitation warrior and the tragedy of beauty, ravaged by drugs. Pam Grier, the timeless icon of blaxploitation, was a towering star of 1970s Hollywood. With roles in Coffee, 1973, and Foxy Brown, 1974, she became the epitome of a strong, alluring woman. Yet behind the glamour of her daring action roles, Pam's life was steeped in tears, with addiction devastating her health and beauty. In the early 1970s, at the peak of her career, drugs crept into Pam's life. Industry parties, where cocaine was ubiquitous, became her haunt. The pressure to maintain a perfect figure and fame in competitive Hollywood led her to rely on cocaine. She used it to sustain energy through grueling shoots and dangerous action scenes and to keep confidence on set. Cocaine became her fuel, but it took everything from her. Drugs silently destroyed Pam's body. Her smooth brown skin, her hallmark, grew sallow, etched with deep wrinkles like cracked earth. Cocaine triggered an extreme obsession with beauty, leading to cosmetic surgeries like nose and lip enhancements that only worsened things. Her nose shifted, her lips swelled unnaturally, like a plastic mask. Then the battle with illness began. Addiction brought dire consequences. She faced cervical cancer, diagnosed in mid-1988. Chemotherapy caused her hair to fall out, her skin to dry like paper, and her eyes to cloud from sleeplessness. Pam's health faded. She no longer had the curvaceous figure of before, replaced by an unbalanced, frail form, devoid of her former allure. Her face, though retaining traces of beauty, aged far beyond her years. The action star's radiance was gone, leaving only a shadow living in seclusion, rarely appearing publicly. Pam Grier, from an irresistible blaxploitation queen, became a tragic image of beauty ravaged by drugs and illness. 14. Lola Falana, the Las Vegas stage queen, crushed by alcohol and a cruel fate. Lola Falana, the versatile star who ruled the stage, was the Queen of Las Vegas with explosive performances. She shone in singing, dancing, and acting, an irresistible symbol of allure. But addiction caused irreparable damage to a beauty that once captivated countless eyes. In the early 1970s, as her career soared, Lola fell into the dark spiral of alcohol. Long performance nights in Las Vegas, combined with the pressure of a racist environment, led her to alcohol as a friend to ease stress. Whiskey and vodka became her nightly companions, helping her forget exhaustion and loneliness under the stage lights. She drank to ignite on stage, then to sink into sleep under the weight of solitude. Once an icon of allure with a balanced figure and bright smile, alcohol transformed Lola rapidly. Her skin swelled, red as if burned, especially around her nose and cheeks. The addiction spiral ravaged her body and mind. In 1987, she was diagnosed with a brain tumor, a devastating blow requiring major surgery and leaving her partially paralyzed. During treatment, half her face became distorted, one eye nearly closed, like melting wax under light. Her hair thinned, like dry grass, her body so fragile it could collapse any time. The price Lola paid wasn't just her beauty, but her career. After years of alcohol abuse, she lost major performance contracts, living in isolation and relying on family. Premature aging and physical pain never relented. Now, at 83, Lola lives in shadows, frail, no longer appearing publicly. No one recalls the Queen of Las Vegas, only the painful image of a once radiant star, now a faded shadow with unhealable scars. 13. Rosalind Cash, the powerful actress, sunk in the darkness of alcohol and tobacco. Rosalind Cash, one of the few respected black actresses in Hollywood, rose in the 1970s with striking roles in The New Centurions, 1972, and various TV appearances. She was an icon of strength and talent, but she couldn't escape the darkness of addiction. From the early 1970s, as her career peaked, Rosalind faced relentless pressure from racism in the film industry. Limited to supporting roles, judged for her appearance, and mocked by colleagues, she turned to alcohol and tobacco to soothe her inner pain. Each day, she drank bourbon and smoked 2 packs of cigarettes. Both became indispensable companions, helping her stay calm during tense shoots, but they deepened her dependency. She drank to forget exhaustion and criticism about her looks, while cigarettes helped her maintain a strong woman image in a challenging Hollywood. These habits gradually destroyed her body and beauty. She was no longer the alluring woman with smooth brown skin. Alcohol darkened her skin, with red veins like spiderwebs on her cheeks and chin. Tobacco yellowed her teeth, cracked her lips, and left her breath heavy with nicotine. These signs not only stripped her charm, but eroded her spirit. The cost of addiction became clearer when Rosalind faced illness. Lung cancer, an unavoidable consequence of smoking, was diagnosed in 1994. Chemotherapy caused her hair to fall in clumps, her skin turned ashen, and her face shrank like a skull. Her eyes were bloodshot, no longer the radiant gaze of a silver screen star. Time stole everything she'd built, leaving only a frail, pained figure. Not only did she lose major roles due to her declining appearance, but Rosalind was hospitalized repeatedly for failing health. The stage lights dimmed, and she was no longer the bold, alluring actress with big dreams. She passed away on October 31, 1995, at 56, leaving endless regret and a profound lesson about the cost of using substances to survive a ruthless industry. 12. Eartha Kitt, the legendary Catwoman, sunk in the tragedy of alcohol and tobacco. Eartha Kitt, an icon of allure and talent, shone in acting and singing. She was the legendary Catwoman in Batman 1967 to 1968 and a Broadway influencer. Yet her sensual image and talent were quickly drowned by addiction. In the late 1960s, at the height of her career, Eartha fell into the spiral of alcohol and tobacco. The reason was simple: isolation from the U.S. government due to her anti-Vietnam War statements. Despite her stardom, she faced crippling financial pressure and harsh public criticism. She used alcohol to ease loneliness and cigarettes to maintain her signature husky voice. She drank cognac in her dressing room before performances, making it an inseparable part of her life. Smoking endlessly, not just to stay sharp on stage, but to mask inner insecurities. These habits ravaged Eartha from within. She was no longer the seductive cat-faced woman with a slender figure that captivated audiences. Alcohol wrinkled her skin, with lines appearing early around her eyes and mouth. Her skin was like crumpled paper, no longer smooth and vibrant. Tobacco stained her teeth. Her lips turned pale purple, as if frozen, losing their softness. Her hair thinned, no longer thick and glossy. Her body wasted away like dry kindling, devoid of vitality. Her eyes, once sparkling like stars, became sunken like dark pits, no longer reflecting the wit people loved. Due to alcohol and tobacco, Eartha's career suffered heavily. She lost her distinctive voice, had fewer roles, and lived in solitude in her final years. In 2006, she was diagnosed with colon cancer, another devastating blow. Just 2 years later, she passed away on December 25, 2008, at 81, her body frail, with no trace of the alluring Catwoman left. 11. Teresa Merritt, the screen mother crushed by alcohol and pressure. Teresa Merritt, with her warm face and standout career in the 1970s, was one of Hollywood's promising actresses. Known for That's My Mama, 1974-1975, and Broadway plays, she shone brightly. But behind the stage lights and applause was a silent pain, a relentless battle with alcoholism and crushing personal pressures. In the late 1960s, as her career peaked, alcohol became Teresa's truth to escape everything. A single mother raising multiple children in hardship, she couldn't avoid financial and emotional strain. Grueling shooting schedules and the pressure to maintain a perfect image pushed her into nightly drinking binges. Gin, her nightly companion, was her only solace in lonely hours, helping her forget producers' criticism and society's unkind looks at her appearance. Alcohol was her sedative to cope with raising her children while constantly worrying about the future. This temporary escape ravaged her from within. Alcohol not only numbed her emotions, but distorted her body. She became obese, her heavy frame aging her beyond her years. Her skin swelled, red as boiled lobster, especially around her cheeks and chin, making her face unrecognizable. Her hair dried out, falling like autumn leaves, reflecting her unhealthy lifestyle. Heart issues emerged, and soon Teresa was a faded shadow. Her face was etched with deep wrinkles, like cracked earth, her eyes dull, no longer the radiant gaze admired by thousands. In her final days, Teresa lived in seclusion, her career and beauty mere memories. Alcohol took everything, and heart disease ended her life at 77 on June 12, 1998. A once hopeful actress was now a sad memory of a forgotten career, a resilient mother who lost herself in life's storms. 10. Beah Richards, the Oscar-nominated actress whose beauty was ravaged by tobacco. Beah Richards, a revered black actress, was among the first nominated for an Oscar in a supporting role. She left a strong mark with Mahogany 1975 and various stage works. But behind the curtain, her life was a series of cruel struggles as tobacco became an invisible companion, pulling her into an abyss that destroyed her beauty and health. Starting at 17, Beah fell into smoking, a habit that eased stress and brought calm in Hollywood's racist environment. By the 1970s, at her career's peak, tobacco was her crutch, a calming tool during long shooting hours. She faced not only work pressure, but society's unkind views on her age. Each rejection for being too old or dismissal drove her deeper into smoking to dispel sadness and frustration. For Beah, tobacco wasn't just a habit. It was her way to face Hollywood's harshness. But those cigarettes stole everything. The more she smoked, the weaker her body grew, and her face lost its youth. Tobacco turned her skin ashen, etched with deep wrinkles like a map of time. Her teeth yellowed, lips cracked, and her breath reeked of nicotine, making it hard to maintain a star's image. She battled emphysema, relying on oxygen from 1998 due to failing health. Her life sank into the darkness of illness, halting her acting career. In her final years, she depended on family, her world reduced to loss and regret. She passed away on September 14, 2000, at 80, her body fully frail, with no trace of the radiant star. She paid an unbearable price for cigarettes once thought harmless. 9. Esther Rolle, the screen legend whose beauty faded from tobacco and career pressure. Esther Rolle, the legendary actress tied to Florida Evans in Maude, 1972, 1977, and Good Times, 1974, 1979, was a black screen icon of the 1970s. But behind her successful roles was a loneliness and stress few understood. Her life wasn't easy. She faced career pressures, racism, and fierce disputes with producers. To stay calm amid arguments and grueling shoots, tobacco became her ally. She smoked up to 3 packs a day to relieve stress. But cigarettes took her health day by day. Relentless smoking erased Esther's alluring, strong appearance. Her skin grew dry, dotted with brown spots around her mouth and nose like scorched earth. Her teeth yellowed, lips cracked, and her breath carried nicotine's heavy scent. Tobacco weakened her cardiovascular system, causing her face to swell. She lost vitality, her hair thinning sparsely, her body exhausted. In her final days, Esther was a dim shadow, her gaunt face and cloudy eyes devoid of her former radiance. She passed away on November 17, 1998, at 78, leaving a bitter warning about tobacco's destruction and career pressures. 8. Esther Phillips, the legendary blues voice and the tragedy of beauty, destroyed by addiction. Esther Phillips, a blues legend with an emotive voice, and the hit What a Difference a Day Makes, 1972, shone brightly. But behind the glamour, her life was tied to substances. From the late 1950s, Esther began using heroin, a habit she couldn't break. It helped her forget domestic violence and racism in the music industry, but led to a steep career decline. After struggling years, she attempted a comeback in the 1970s, but couldn't escape her battle with drugs and tobacco. Before each performance, she injected heroin for inspiration, and cigarettes preserved her husky voice. But everything had a price. Heroin and tobacco stole her stunning appearance. Her skin turned ashen, covered in pustules and sores from injections. Her eyes sank, circled by dark rings, her lips pale purple, her teeth yellowed. In her final days, her frail frame, thinning hair, and gaunt face resembled a ghost, with no trace of the allure she once prized. After all that destruction, Esther passed away on August 7, 1984, at 48, an age when she could have kept shining. 7. Etta James, the soul queen, crushed by addiction. Etta James, with her soulful voice and hit I'd Rather Go Blind, was an immortal soul and blues icon. No one could have guessed that from the 1960s, Etta fell into heroin at lavish parties. By the 1970s, she returned to the stage with dramatic performances, but her addiction worsened. Heroin became indispensable before shows, helping her forget domestic violence and emotional pain. She faced not only drug dependency, but an arrest for drug possession on May 12, 1974. Heroin took everything. Her once smooth, radiant skin became blotchy, scarred from injections. Her eyes sank, bloodshot with a panicked gaze. Her teeth broke, lips cracked. Alzheimer's and heart failure silenced her voice, and her body withered. Her face became a shattered canvas, no longer the powerful beauty that captivated millions. Etta lived a fading life until her passing on January 20, 2012, at 73. 6. Sugar Pie DeSanto, the blues queen, swept away in the spiral of addiction. Sugar Pie. DeSanto, the fierce blues singer with iconic 1960s and 70s hits, shook the R&B stage. But her glamour didn't last as addiction dragged her into darkness. Caught. In the storm of addiction from the late 1960s, Sugar abused alcohol and cocaine to maintain performance energy. She drank heavily to forget her declining career and used cocaine at industry parties to stay confident. Her personal life was equally grim. Pressure from an abusive husband and financial woes pushed her into a dead end. Alcohol and cocaine ravaged her health. Her skin reddened, swollen around her eyes and nose, her face rough with brown spots. A car accident on July 14, 1978, while drunk, left her face scarred and crooked. Her frail frame, thinning hair, and cloudy eyes no longer resembled the vibrant figure who electrified audiences. Her beauty was a memory of a glorious past. Sugar Pie DeSanto lived her final years in the shadow of addiction's aftermath until her passing on December 20, 2024. 5. Freda Payne, the radiant R&B star and the tragedy of beauty ravaged by cocaine. Freda Payne, the R&B star famed for Band of Gold, captivated millions with her beauty and talent. But from the 1970s, her life crumbled in the spiral of addiction. Cocaine, initially a friend to get through long performance nights, became a cruel enemy. Pressure from fame and her divorce on March 22, 1976, trapped her in dependency. She injected cocaine before shows for energy, but it became a deadly cycle. Despite rehab attempts, her health couldn't escape addiction's toll: arthritis, heart issues, and a weakened immune system. Her beauty was mercilessly destroyed. Her skin darkened, wrinkles carved deep like cracks in the earth, dark circles stark under her eyes. Her teeth loosened, lips cracked, her body no longer that of a radiant star. All that remained of Freda was a tragic tale of drug temptation and the price paid for glamour. 4. Florence Ballard, the Motown star and the tragedy of a beauty, shattered by alcohol. Florence Ballard, a founding member of the Supremes, was a Motown icon with a captivating voice and radiant beauty. But after leaving the group on February 22, 1967, her dazzling life quickly changed. Ousted from the group, divorced, and raising 3 children, Florence turned to alcohol to ease her pain. It was her way to cope with sleepless nights in a small apartment and growing loneliness. Scars from domestic violence haunted her, soothed only by nightly vodka and gin. She drank to forget her broken career and industry discrimination, but addiction turned her into a shadow of herself. Alcohol swelled her face, reddened like burns, her eyes clouded. She became obese, her body heavy, her hair sparse and matted. No one could have guessed Florence would pass suddenly on February 22, 1976, at 32. She was no longer the radiant star, but a ghostly figure, a testament to alcohol's ruin and life's pressures. 3. Nina Simone. The jazz queen shattered in the darkness of addiction. Nina Simone, a towering music icon, dedicated her life to jazz and civil rights. But behind her glory was a pain no one fully grasped. When life's pressures overwhelmed her, Nina turned to alcohol and sedatives to escape her wounds. From the late 1960s, she drank wine and whiskey and abused pills to combat depression and bipolar disorder. Her pain was masked by alcohol, but pills hindered her fight. She became so dependent she couldn't perform without them. Slowly, her body and charisma were ravaged. Alcohol darkened her skin, with brown spots spreading like sunburn. Sedatives dulled her eyes, leaving an empty, soulless gaze, no longer the sharp look that drew thousands. Alcohol worsened her Parkinson's, diagnosed in 1993, causing tremors and a distorted face. In her final days, Nina was a shadow of herself, living alone, uncared for, until her passing on April 21, 2003, at 70. 2. Aretha Franklin, the soul queen, whose radiant beauty was crushed by alcohol and tobacco. Aretha Franklin, the soul queen, was a model of talent and power in music. She gave her life to soulful melodies, but few knew the silent pain that destroyed her health and beauty. Her life was full of storms. A divorce on March 2, 1969, due to domestic violence and the loss of loved ones, drove her to alcohol and tobacco. In the 1970s, at her career's peak with Young, Gifted, and Black, 1972, she sank into pain and loneliness. Alcohol soothed her soul, while cigarettes relaxed her in the studio. Their combination slowly destroyed her body. Alcohol swelled her face, reddened as if pumped up, while tobacco yellowed her teeth and paled her lips like suffocation. Her voice and health declined painfully. She developed diabetes in 1980 and pancreatic cancer diagnosed in 2010, all tied to years of addiction. Chemotherapy thinned her hair, her skin grayed starkly. Her face was etched with deep wrinkles, her eyes cloudy, with no trace of the radiant beauty that enthralled millions. Until her passing on August 16, 2018, at 76, no one could believe her life and beauty were so cruelly destroyed. 1. Celia Cruz, the salsa queen, whose God-given beauty was ravaged by tobacco. Celia Cruz, the legendary queen of salsa, was one of the 20th century's brightest music icons. But behind her vibrant dances and timeless melodies was a sad story of addiction's ruin. Her career had ups and downs. Facing racism and unavoidable pressures after leaving Cuba in 1960, she turned to tobacco to stay calm, sustain energy, and preserve her signature voice. But those cigarette packs weren't just a career secret. They became a lingering nightmare. Tobacco ruined Celia's smooth skin, leaving it rough, cracked, and lined with deep wrinkles. Her bright teeth dulled, her lips cracked like a desert. Chemotherapy for breast cancer, diagnosed in 2002, took her thick hair and left her body gaunt. Her eyes, always bloodshot, lost the vibrant energy that lit up stages. Until her passing on July 16, 2003, at 77, Celia was a faint shadow of a legend. The 19 most beautiful black actresses of the 1970s you've just revisited were not only symbols of resilience, but proof of the crushing pressures the entertainment industry brings. Addiction may have been a mental escape, but it became a harsh punishment their bodies endured in silence. In the end, these stars paid an unbearable price with the beauty they once prized, even their lives. If this story leaves you reflecting on the entertainment world, drop a comment sharing your thoughts below this video. Don't forget to subscribe to catch more videos where we'll keep uncovering the secrets behind the glamour.